So if you guys have been following the channel for a while now, you've seen we're doing a number of head-to-head, some of the greatest strongmen of all time, how they compared to each other when they crossed over in the same era. And obviously you guys keep nominating who you'd like to see in this series. I didn't want to do this, but you've dragged me into it.
What?
I like talking about the other guys, I don't like talking about myself, and to be honest, I'll probably forget some of these results.
I expect you to get these 100% correct. So today, we are doing Uncle Loz versus Terry Hollands. Yay!
Right, head-to-head, me versus Terry. This is going to be a long one. We've had a lot of competitions against each other. He was one of the top boys in the country when I started out, someone I've looked up to, had an amazing rivalry with, and before we get into the results, I want to say Terry's one of the reasons I became as good as I did. You know, he was the man to kind of get to, and his level just kept getting higher, so it forced me to get higher as well. And we've had some great battles over the years. Some I'm sure I've forgotten about some of them, but some I can remember, obviously. I think I'm going to do okay on this one.
You should do better than okay. So just a quick reminder of the rules then. We're going to look at competitions where you and Terry were both in there for full shows, not including single event competitions like the Deadlift World Championships, also not including team competitions, because I know you and Terry have done quite a few of those together over the years.
Well, so we've been on the same team.
Well, yeah, I know. Yeah. But when you two are both in the same competition, who comes out on top? You're going to try and guess.
Okay.
And this time it shouldn't be a guess. You're going to try and remember.
I'll try and remember. You guys try and guess along. Let's get on with it.
So, as you said already, Terry was already a few years into competing at an international level when you joined the national scene. So the first competition you two were in together was Britain's Strongest Man 2007.
I remember this one very well. We were in the same group, actually. And Terry won Britain's Strongest Man 2007.
Yeah.
I think I made the final.
You did.
And I tore my bicep.
You did.
So I ended up 8th in the final.
That's right. Were you a bit starstruck when you met him? Were you like,
I wasn't starstruck, no. It's kind of funny with me.
I know you're not like that.
I'm not like that anyway, and it was always, you know, I remember doing competitions and someone was like, "Oh, go and have a picture with Mark Felix." I was like, "No." And then, a few years later, I'm travelling to World's Strongest Man, sat next to Mark Felix, and became a good friend. And that's kind of what my mentality was like. Yeah. I wasn't there to be starstruck. It was great to compete with these athletes that I'd watched on telly for a few years. But no, I was looking at them thinking, he's bloody good. I've got to get better. What do I need to do to kind of close the gap? That's more than what goes on in my head.
Very professional, dear.
He's really good, doing really well. Laurence, that's pretty good praise. You must be pleased with that.
Very happy, yeah. To have that kind of praise from someone like Terry Hollands, it means a lot to me, definitely.
Can you remember who rounded off the podium in that competition?
Terry Hollands winning.
Yes.
Oh, Mark Felix.
Yeah.
Was Mark second?
Yeah.
And third... Wasn't Jimmy Marku, was it?
No, it's Darren.
Darren Sadler. There we go.
And I think it's worth mentioning as well how far along the national competitions have come since then. Like then, I don't know if this is right, but apparently you guys did a deadlift ladder. 230 kilos was the starting weight up to 315 kilos. Your stones were 120 to 160 kilos. The log lift for reps was 115 kilos. We've got the women pretty much doing that. Not to be rude,
no,
but
it's true. It really has come on so far.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember doing the log, and I think I got 7 reps struggling with it, and you know, I went on and I was doing 160 for that kind of rep range towards the end of my career. So, and now when you see what the top guys are doing, it's
180
crazy.
For reps in some competitions.
So pretty mental to see that progress over the years.
Next then was the 2008 Britain's Strongest Man.
2008, was that the next time we met?
Yeah.
Okay, so then Terry's beaten me again. Jimmy Marku winning that competition. I think Terry was second.
Yeah, he was.
And Mark Felix third.
Probably, yeah.
And I think I was 4th.
You were 4th.
Yep.
I know that much. You were 4th. That was the year, there was wrestling.
Wrestling, yes.
Do you remember?
Jimmy Marku, there's a picture of him with like bandage over his head and everything. It's pretty epic, but wrestling is not the way to go in a strongman competition.
I remember a picture of Mark with his vest torn, looking like...
Yeah.
There's like quite an iconic
There's
picture
a good
of
picture of Mark like that, yeah. Mark's not the best wrestler in the world.
He's not aggressive, is he?
No. But Terry's pretty good. Terry's got like a judo background. I remember going against Terry and him kind of squashing me, and he was big at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jimmy Marku, he was the man. He came out on top that year.
Next then is the 2009 World's Strongest Man final. So this was your first final, Terry's fourth.
Yeah, amazing achievement for me to get to the final that year. It was my first final, and if I'm totally honest, I sort of gave everything in the heats, and I was just happy to be in the final.
Yeah.
I think I came ninth in that final. And I had a couple of events that I did all right on, but I remember Sven Carlson saying to me, you stop trying once you're in the final. It wasn't I stopped trying, but you kind of put everything to get to the final.
Yeah.
That was a big achievement for me that year, and it was kind of like a building confidence thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Terry beat me, no problem at all.
Yeah, Terry came sixth. And that was a crazy lineup that year. Do you remember the podium? Zydrunas, Marius and Brian Shaw.
Yeah, that's an iconic podium.
Yeah,
It really
crazy.
is.
Next, Giants Live London in 2011 at the XL Arena, I think it was.
Yeah, that was a really good show for me. I ended up in second place overall to
That's right.
Brian Shaw, although I was cramping really badly
Yeah.
all competition. But yeah, is that my first victory over Terry?
It is, yeah. Can you remember what happened with Terry?
I think he got injured, to be fair.
He did, yeah. So I'm guessing it was on the max deadlift, which was the first event.
Yeah.
Or second event.
But to be fair, I was performing well that day. I think
you had a great day. That was the day you and Brian both pulled the Strongman deadlift world record.
I pulled a world record in the deadlift. I got a British record in the axle. I dismantled everyone on the farmer's walk. I was just cramping on a couple of events that cost me, but I was in good shape then.
Do you remember who came third?
Yeah, Lalas.
Yeah, very good. Well done. Good memory. I know you'll know this one. So you didn't make the final of World's Strongest Man 2010, but we won't go into that. 2011 you did, so that was yours and Terry's next competition together. Do you remember?
Yes, I remember. Really, Terry performed amazingly at that World's Strongest Man. He ended up getting on the podium, third place. Zydrunas and Brian, obviously stopping everyone at that time.
Yeah.
Couldn't have doing any better. I came fourth. I was proud of my performance that year. Beat a lot of really good names in the sport, and to have two British guys in the top five, that was kind of a big deal. But Terry pipped me again.
Next is the 2011 Strongman Champions League in Canada. 16 athletes.
I believe I beat Terry at this one.
You did.
I think I was third overall.
You were second.
Second.
Yeah.
There we go.
I think you were second. Let me check my notes. You were third. Sorry.
You're my biggest supporter.
I
It's
know,
fine.
yeah. I just want the best for you. Can you remember who was first and second?
I think Zydrunas was first,
Yeah.
and I think it wasn't JF Caron. Was it?
It was
Yeah.
JF Caron, of course it was.
Of course. But behind me was Hafthor Bjornsson, Terry Hollands, Travis Ortmeyer. There was a stacked lineup.
Oh, it was a hell of a lineup. Can you remember where Terry placed?
No.
Terry was seventh.
Okay.
But yeah, you're right. There were a lot of athletes, 16 in total. So it's one of those, you have a bad event and
Yeah,
suddenly...
and a lot of events in Canada as well. It was a
Yeah, it
tough
was over a few
competition.
days,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
I'm getting a few under my belt now.
Okay.
good.
You're doing well.
Yeah,
You haven't got one wrong yet. So next was the Arnold Strongman Classic in 2012. The only year you and Terry have ever done an Arnold Strongman Classic.
Yeah. Caused a lot of issues between me and Terry, that.
Yeah.
Your fault.
My No, it was nothing to do with me.
I beat Terry in that.
Yeah.
I did. But to be fair, I only had I had 4 weeks notice to prepare for that show. I think for the Arnolds you need more than that. I did okay on a couple of events, but I felt like I was under-prepared.
There was like 4 overhead events in that competition.
Not 4.
Wasn't it 4? What was the Apollo's wheel?
So there's the Pollens axle, which
Yeah.
you clean and press overhead, and there was a dumbbell.
And there was a log.
Yeah, you're right.
There was a few.
3.
And
Then there was a deadlift, and there was the
frame carry.
carry.
Yeah, the
I did
timber
okay
carry.
on the deadlift, although you only allowed 3 lifts of that, and I probably went a bit too safe.
Yeah.
I could have pulled a lot more than I did. I was good on the frame carry. I got some good points on that.
Yeah, you were crap on the dumbbell.
I wasn't crap on the dumbbell. It was a really heavy dumbbell. But yeah, I zeroed the dumbbell. Thanks for that, love. Yeah, I was crap on the dumbbell, but I still beat Terry overall. So
I'll
there
be
we go.
building you up later.
Okay,
I'm just like,
okay.
balancing
Yeah.
it.
No
Don't
problem.
want to be a shit.
Yeah, my only performance at the Arnold's, 4 weeks notice to prep for the Arnold's is not enough. I was literally not in shape at all. I had 4 weeks. I would like 12 to 16 weeks to prep for something like that.
And where did you and Terry place?
I believe I was 7th.
Yeah.
And he was 8th or 9th.
He was 8th, yeah, that's right. Well done. You know who had a worse year than both of you too?
Who?
Thor. He
Yes,
came last. That
there we
was his
go.
first Arnold's, wasn't
Yeah,
it? And he came last, yeah. So there you go.
We both beat Thor.
Yeah,
You
nothing
know what?
else.
Head-to-head against Thor, I've probably got an okay head-to-head against him. Not like, well, not as bad as people would think.
No, yeah.
I'm sure he's beaten me more times than I've beaten him, but I'm pretty sure I've beaten him a good amount of times.
Yeah, in the early days, definitely.
And when he was good.
Oh, yeah.
A couple of times.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Number 8, Strongman Champions League FIBO 2012.
This guy.
This guy.
Yeah.
What did you-
I beat Terry in that one.
Yeah.
I did okay in that, I think. I think it was me, Zadrunas, and Irvin Katona top 3.
That's right, yeah. Irvin was top 3 as well.
Irvin was always good in the Champions League. I think Zadrunas won, I was 2nd, Irvin was 3rd.
That's right, yeah. And Terry was
I don't know.
5th.
Okay.
Yeah, so top 5 still, but yeah.
I'm really bad once people are below me.
You just don't know what's gone on, yeah.
Well, you're behind me, it doesn't matter.
Lads, that's so rude. How
No,
rude.
it's not. You're just focused on
No, I know.
your performance, aren't you?
Babe, in the competitions that you were in that I was there, I can barely remember who placed where at
Yeah.
all because I'm so laser focused on what you were doing. So like people could say, oh, so and so just pulled a world record, did they?
Yeah.
Like, I genuinely wasn't even
It's
watching.
a very different
Yeah.
mentality when you're competing or you're
It
involved
really
with
is.
someone as opposed to just watching as a fan.
Yeah, definitely. It's nice though. Now we actually
Yeah,
enjoy
it's- yeah.
competitions.
It's much better,
It
much
is
nicer.
nicer.
I can be nicer about these guys as well. When you're competing, he's like, I'm going to back myself, I'm going to win.
Yeah, that guy. Oh, sorry. But it does feel that way, doesn't it?
does,
Even though
yeah.
we're all friends and everything.
Absolutely. If you're an athlete, you should be going there to win.
Oh, yeah.
That should be your mentality.
And if you're an athlete's wife, you should hate everyone else. The 2012 Strongman Champions League, Serbia.
I think Terry beat me in Serbia.
He did?
Yeah. This was Irvin Katona's home country.
Yeah.
Now, me and Irvin competed a lot. A lot.
Yeah.
And I would always just beat him. Except in Serbia, in his home country, where he just dominated the whole show, beating everyone by miles. And Terry beat me as well in this one.
Yeah, Terry came second behind Irvin in this, and you were...
4th?
Yeah, you were 4th. Well done. Right. 2012, Britain's Strongest Man. What an epic this was. It was back after a couple of years off. There was a format change. It was 19 guys in the lineup.
It was crazy.
It was crazy. And you and Terry were the heavy favourites.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on beforehand at this competition, which distracted a lot of athletes. So it was,
Yes.
it kind of had a bit. It was a weird atmosphere and arena.
Someone was taken extremely ill, weren't
He
they?
had a heart attack,
Yeah.
and
Was it in
he's
a
like
light,
dead, but
lighter
he's
weight
okay.
class?
No, it was like a novice comp going on
okay.
before. But luckily the guy's okay now. But
Yeah.
he had a heart attack. This
Yeah.
this poor guy. So it was a weird show. I mean, me and Terry were the heavy favourites. He had like an up and coming Eddie Hall, a couple of other
Graham
guys that were
Hicks
good.
was there.
Hicksy.
Yeah.
But I was in good shape at this time,
Yeah.
and it was only 4 events, but I pretty much dominated the whole show. I think I was first or joint first on every event.
Yeah, so you were first and Terry was...
Second.
Well done.
I don't think Hicksy
Chris Gearing
was third.
Yeah.
Hicksy was 4th.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Chris Gearing gave up Strongman, did he?
He
did
did.
go to Worlds.
He did go
didn't
to Worlds, yeah.
Europe's Strongest Man 2012. Europe's was also back this year, a complete change. Darren had got involved with Giants Live. They invested a lot into this show at Headingley
This was a
Stadium.
real start of Strongman,
Yeah.
kind of developing over the last kind of 10 years or so. Big thanks to Darren Sadler. He invested a lot of his own money, took a risk, believed that he could make this happen, and it was an epic show. I was in good shape. I think I came 3rd.
You did.
I believe Lalas was 2nd and Zadrunas was 1st. And Zadrunas at this point was just a machine.
Yeah, this was peak Zadrunas.
Mm.
Full Zadrunas. Can you remember what happened with Terry?
No, I think Krzysztof Radzikowski was 4th.
Mm-hmm.
Terry 5th or 6th?
Terry was 10th.
Okay.
But he was injured. He pulled out after the second event.
Okay.
I don't actually remember that happening, but apparently that's what happened.
Okay.
So
I remember being in real good shape at this show, feeling like I was... This was a time I felt, actually, at 2012, I felt I was in the best shape I'd ever been in.
Yeah.
I was very competitive, winning a lot of shows, or podium at a lot of shows. Unfortunately, I got injured a few competitions ahead of this one.
Yeah, the China one.
Yeah, and then it kind of messed me up for a long time.
That was like the downward spiral of the sort of
I
injuries
believe that was the year I should have made the podium at Worlds.
Yeah.
Because if you look at like the results from 2012 and who went on to be first and second at Worlds,
Yeah.
and I was challenging them in major shows, I was beating the likes of Thor every time we competed. That was when I should.
Thor wasn't there yet, was he?
He was good,
Yeah.
but at that time I was a little bit better, and he was still obviously on the up. He went on. Obviously, we know what he's done afterwards, but he wasn't quite that level at that time.
Europe's Strongest Man, 2013. Back at heading there.
Europe's Strongest Man 2013. Zydrunas wins. I think I was 4th. 4th or 5th.
You were 5th.
5th.
Yeah.
But I still think that was higher than Terry.
It was. Terry was
I don't know.
7th. Yeah. Next was Britain's Strongest Man 2013. So this was weird because it was
a
actually
British Open
Yes.
with Britain's Strongest Man involved.
Yeah, so the top Brit would be crowned Britain's Strongest Man, but there were a couple of
There was a few internationals including Jerry Pritchett, who was second.
and Robert Oberst as well.
Oberst was in it as well, and I won.
You did win.
I won the overall competition and won Britain's Strongest Man.
Can you remember who was third?
Terry?
Yeah, it was Terry. Oh, come on, Lozzie. Yes, yeah.
Yeah. That was a good battle between me and Terry that year.
Yeah, it
he
was.
beat me on the yoke. Very few people managed to beat me on the yoke at that time, and he beat me on the yoke, but I won the competition, so it was all right.
You also pulled a British deadlift
I did.
record
I pulled
that
a British
day.
deadlift record that day.
433 kilos, yeah.
And I beat Robert Oberst on the log.
Oh, God, don't. I can't cope. Oh, and also, this was the first time we met Luke Stoltman.
Yes,
a very
this
skinny
was-
Luke Stoltman.
Luke Stoltman failed the log. It was a 150 kilo log
Yes.
for reps, and he failed it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was his first Giants Live, I think.
Yeah. Oh, how he's grown.
He has indeed.
Next was 2014's Britain's Strongest Man.
2014 Britain's Strongest Man. I believe I beat Terry, and I believe Eddie Hall beat me.
Yeah, that was Eddie's first time beating
Was I second?
both of you. You were third.
Third. I dropped off. Is that last event? I cramped
It was the
up.
loading race, yeah.
And Eddie flipped the finger at me.
Yeah, how rude. But again, I didn't even notice at the
No,
time.
I didn't notice
It
at the
wasn't
time.
until like people mentioned it. I was like, did he?
Yeah. No, I was doing okay in
Actually,
this
he
shot.
came and
He
apologised,
did.
and I was
It
like,
is-
what?
it is-
Why?
It's
Yeah.
fine. This is when things were starting to change, and me and Terry were sort of no longer the top two guys in the country.
Yeah.
Certain Eddie Hall establishing himself as
And
the number one.
it was like as if from nowhere, because leading up to that, he hadn't, like, his log, he'd broken the British log record, but other than that, he hadn't really done a lot.
He was always
like-
very strong.
Yes,
but
he wasn't a
he'd kind
good,
of gone.
well-rounded
He'd gone away
athlete.
and really started working at the whole.
He learnt to move.
Yeah, he did, and he was a worthy winner that year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think it just took us all by surprise because there were so many moving events. Because you remember Darren Sadler was doing it as well. And there was a Conan circle, there was a loading race, there was a duck walk. And we're like, oh no, this is a nightmare.
Yeah, but duck
and
walk,
no
I hate.
one...
They had farmers walk into duck walk, which really screwed me over because I fell over with it.
Yeah, yeah. So
If it was
even-
just farmers, I
yeah.
probably still would have won that competition overall.
Possibly, yeah.
But,
Because
you know, that duck walk cost me a lot of points.
It did.
And people wonder why I hate the damn duck walk. But other than that, Eddie was a worthy winner.
Yeah, he was.
And I beat Terry.
You did, yeah.
Who was second then? Was it Hicksy?
It was no, wasn't it Mark? Was that the
Felix.
year Felix came second?
Maybe.
Check. Beg your pardon, it was Graham. Yeah, Graham in second. You were in third,
Yeah.
and Terry was fourth. Yeah. Next was World's Strongest Man Final 2014.
2014, we had 3 Britons in the final that
Yes.
year. Terry and Eddie, as well as myself.
Yeah.
Both those guys beat me though.
Yeah, Terry was,
6th?
I think he was fifth.
5th?
Fifth?
Eddie was 6th?
I'm not sure where Eddie placed, but I know that Terry was 5th, you were 10th.
Yeah.
It was out of 12 guys. That was the year
it
they
was a
did
weird
the
year,
wild card. Yeah, so the 2 highest placing guys in the groups that didn't make it to the finals were given wild card. I liked that. It was nice.
It was an interesting format.
Chunkier final. Yeah. I think both you and Terry would have done much better had they kept the original events of the
I'm
yoke
still bitter about that.
Was it a yoke and a frame
Supposed
carry?
to be yoke and frame carry. You've probably heard me mention this before. Changed to loading on sand and keg toss. Although we did get that epic moment of Brian and Thor on a keg toss.
We did. And we got to see Eddie inside attire. So looking like a ballerina. So there were like some benefits. Moments. Yeah. But that was actually a World's Strongest Man of lasts. Because not only was it Zydrunas' last win, it was yours and Terry's last final together. Believe it or not.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So who knew? Who knew at that point?
It wasn't my last final though.
No, but it was Terry's. Because Terry, he retired in 2015. Came back in 16. He's only done a couple of worlds since then, and he's had some horrible groups. Yeah, really horrible.
The problem is, as we get older, we're not quite as good anymore. We're past our prime, and then you're not the seeded guys, and it becomes harder. So that's understandable. But what a career he's had.
So as I just mentioned, in between that competition and the next competition you were both in together, which was Britain's Strongest Man 2016, so much stuff happened. Terry retired, opened a gym, became a TV presenter, came back to Strongman. You got a nasty injury at 2015 World's Strongest Man, vowed you were done with Strongman, but then this was your tentative step back into competition. I say tentative, it was Britain's Strongest Man 2016.
Yeah, but I remember just going, and you said just go and have fun and enjoy it, and I did, and I had a great time.
Yeah, and
I think I ended up 3rd or 2nd.
Yeah,
third.
You did come 3rd. Yeah,
but I was just having fun and enjoying it again. I think you could see that watching the performance. You can see I'm just smiling.
You were smiling,
reacting to the crowd, and I think I did pretty well on the car walk. Broke the record at the time on the car walk. But I just enjoyed being back in Strongman, and I beat Terry. I think Eddie won, and I think Bish might have been 2nd.
No, this must be where Felix was 2nd.
Felix was 2nd.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, Felix was 2nd.
Yeah.
Bish was 4th.
Yeah,
and Terry was 5th.
That's right. Well done. I know you'll know this next one. 2016 Europe's Strongest Man.
This guy. I've got fond memories of that night. Yeah, Europe's Strongest Man 2016, same night that Eddie Hall broke the deadlift world record, and I beat Thor to be crowned Europe's Strongest Man.
And where did Terry race?
I don't know. I'm sorry, Terry, I don't know.
He was 5th.
Okay, Terry was 5th. I knew my battle was with Johannes Aho. I think Kiliashkovsky was 4th. That was a good night for me.
Yes.
And I will always remember it. And just being in the first direct arena in front of so many fans, it was an amazing moment.
It was the first arena show as well. Before that, we've been in stadiums, haven't we? So.
Yep. It was an epic night.
Ultimate Strongman World Championships 2016.
It's another good night for me.
He's like, he can't stop grinning.
Yeah, that was a good year for me.
That was the very end of the year as well. It was December.
This is my world title. If you like, it's not World's Strongest Man. I openly admit that. But if boxers can call themselves world champions in all these different federations, then I can do the same here.
To be fair, you've never called yourself a world champion.
No, I haven't. But yeah, it was the Ultimate Strongman World Championships, and I won that event. And it was actually a very strong lineup when you look at the people that were in it.
Yeah, and when you look at see what some of them have done, like Zydrunas was obviously in it. We know it wasn't peak Zydrunas anymore.
Not at all. Terry
was there, Iron Bibby, Tom Stoltman, a young fresh-faced Tom.
Misha Shivlikov.
Yeah.
There was a good sort of Janasha was there.
Was there, yeah. It was a decent
Eddie
mix.
Hall was there, although he pulled out after the first event.
Yeah.
But no, it was a great year for me, 2016, and that was an amazing way to finish it off.
This next one was less great. Europe's Strongest Man 2017.
Yeah, not such a good one. I guess Terry beat me on that one. I honestly can't remember placings or anything. It just didn't go. I was injured and
you were sick.
Yeah, I was.
Do you remember after the truck pull? Because they did the truck pull the day before.
I was puking up before the truck pull, trying to sort of get myself sorted. But not a good performance by me, that one.
No. Can you remember where Terry placed?
third.
Yeah, he was third behind Thor and Eddie.
Yeah.
Those two really ran away. Like, it was such a tight battle between those two. Everyone else was kind of left in the dust, but
It was a good, solid performance by Terry, though. There.
yeah, it was to get on the podium with them. Yeah, definitely. And then you were 7th. No, sorry, you were 8th.
I don't know where I was. Why am I?
You didn't finish.
I was
I know
puking
that.
up in the bin out the back somewhere.
2017 Giants Live World Tour final.
Ooh, that was a really close battle between a lot of guys. Is that the one Zadrunas won?
Yeah.
And then a load of us were really close. I think I ended up 6th or 7th.
There was only like 10 points between it all the way down or something.
But there was only like 1 point between 6 of us.
Yeah.
I think I was ahead of Terry.
You were.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you were 7th and Terry was 9th, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, he was 9th. It was that dastardly
There's a deadlift from Magnus Ver.
400 kilo deadlift for reps that did it, because not that many. I mean, Janasha absolutely smashed it. But some guys
Janasha
are
and
great.
JF Karan.
Yeah, that's right. But quite a few guys got 0, so there was a big split.
I jarred
in
my
points.
knee on the
On
frame,
the frame,
as well.
yeah, nasty stuff.
But still, it was a great competition. It was a good fun one.
Wus Dubai 2018, the first ever World Ultimate Strongman competition.
And that wasn't a bad performance by me. That
No,
year. I
you did
pretty
well in that,
Did pretty
yeah.
well. I think I ended up 4th or 5th.
You were fifth, yeah.
overall. Obviously, we had like Brian and Thor and Kilishkovsky as a top 3.
Yeah,
And then JF Karan in 4th, and I
Yeah.
think I was 5th.
that's right. And when you look at that lineup, it's just
Lysis was in that lineup.
Janasha, Tom Stoltman, Luke Stoltman, Ian Bibby, Terry.
yeah.
Yeah. It was an incredible lineup, really.
Broke the record on the yoke.
You set a record on a yoke, didn't you? Because it wasn't a yoke that we'd ever seen before, or even a weight that we'd
It
had
was
used
stupidly
before.
heavy.
What was it, 580?
580 kilos, and I dismantled the field.
Dismantle.
It's one of my most proud performances because the guys came up to me afterwards and said it was so good.
Yeah.
And when guys like Zadrunas and Kilishkovsky are telling you that was really good,
Yeah.
it means something.
Yeah.
So
That's good. It's very good.
I need my little pats on the back occasionally.
Yeah, there we go.
I'm done doing this stuff, I've got to
Be able
reminisce
to
and look back.
Remember it fondly. And now is your last competition together. Britain's Strongest Man 2019.
Britain's Strongest Man 2019. I just can't even picture it.
So the year before was when Tom had a stinker of a performance in 2018.
Oh, 2019. Yeah. I did okay.
Yeah.
I
were
was
up
against Tom
on
in the
the
Stones. Yeah, never the best thing to be able to do.
No.
But I beat Terry.
You did beat Terry. Can you remember where you placed?
I think, was I 5th?
Yeah, you were 5th. Yeah. Can you remember who was ahead of you?
Luke Stoltman,
Yeah.
Tom Stoltman,
Yeah.
Adam Bishop,
Yeah.
and Graham Hicks.
Yeah, Graham won that year, didn't he? And Terry was in 6th place.
Yeah.
6th place.
6th.
Can't say it. 6th.
What's wrong with you?
6th.
Okay, is that our last competition against each other?
Yeah, that was it.
Wow. It's been a long career of head-to-heads.
I thought it would be more though.
Yeah, I guess we had a little patch where either he was missing or I was missing.
Yeah.
But he's definitely been one of my biggest rivals and one of the reasons I pushed to be better and better all the time. It's absolutely, he's been a nightmare at times competing with him. And, you've had Colin try and make out more of a rivalry than it was. We get on absolutely brilliant now. Both of us can kind of look back and be fond of what we've achieved over the years. And I guess some people will look at it and say, he's the better strongman because he had 2, third places at Worlds. Some people will look at it and say, I'm the better strongman because I won more shows and stuff. But
I think you were just different types of strongmen. Like
I openly admit he's better at the longer format shows.
yeah.
I'm better at the one-day shows.
Yeah, exactly. And also, you weren't both at your peak at the same time. He was a couple of years ahead
I think
of
we had a
you.
little kind of patch where we probably both
2013-ish.
12, 11, 12, 13.
Yeah.
But I think, we've both done exceptionally well. Hopefully people see us as 2 of the best British athletes of all time. I'll tell you which would be a good one, and I've seen people asking for it. Terry versus Felix.
That's a long one, Lozzie.
Do we want to see Terry versus Mark Felix?
That's a good one. That's a juicy one.
I bet that's a good one.
Yeah, it will be a good one. I will do it at some point.
Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Did you guess correctly yourselves? I got them all right.
You did.
Rightly so. I should do, yeah. I guess. But it is funny how certain things just you can't really remember. But I'm glad I did well in that. Thank you for making me suffer through that.
That's okay. I'm glad you enjoyed that.
I did. It was good.
You might have enjoyed it less if you hadn't come out on top.
Well, there'll be other people that have a losing record too, I'm sure. Yeah. So, no, it was good fun. Hope you enjoyed it, guys. Let us know what your thoughts are and who you'd like to see on more of these head-to-heads. Don't forget, we do have a number already. You've put a playlist together?
Yes, I have.
So you can check those out.
Over here.
Remember to like, share and subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you guys next time. We've got a wave as well because we've been told off for not waving.
Oh, have we?
While you're here, guys, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my awesome strength content.